Hey there, students. This is Dr. Rothschild here. I happen to be in Lake Hartwell, Georgia. Just got done being part of my wife being part of a wedding, and I promised you I'd get you a review, so I thought I'd give you a review via video, and I'll just show you first of all, just to let you know what I'm missing right now. It's about 6 o'clock at night. Beautiful lake that I'm missing right now, because I'm having to do a review for you, because that's what I committed to do, and so I'm trying to get it done for you. Alright, so listen, here's several things for you, okay? First of all, the exam will be very similar to how I structured it for exam number 1, so keep that in mind. Multiple choice, there may be some fill in the blank, there will be some matching. Here's how you prepare. We're doing chapters 5 through 9. So make sure that you review your quiz review sheets for chapters 5 through 9 for sure. Okay, review those. In addition to the content that's on the quiz review sheets, I'm also going to go through the chapters and highlight things in addition to what's on the quiz review sheet that we did not get a chance to have either a quiz on and or we did not have an opportunity to discuss fully, something that I want you to know about, etc. So I'll go over that in the chapters with you in just a moment. But let me quickly go to the tours and just highlight some things on the tour sheet. We've already reviewed most of the information related to the tours in some shape or form. And so I'm going to highlight what I have here on my tour sheet so that you can also match it up against your own. Okay. Number 1, we're looking at specifically. Let's see. We'll go to the baseball stadium right now, Hammons Field. Okay. Know who the owner is. You should know who the owner is. You should know who it's managed by, who has the primary responsibility for managing the facility. Obviously, you should know who the anchor tenant is. And I want you to know approximately how many full-time employees they have, and also how many part-time or game day staff that fits into that part-time status. And I'd like you to know some of the roles that fit into game day staff. They gave us a list, including everything from the spirit girls to the game day ushers to security. Those were considered some of the part-time staff. You also were introduced to the seating capacity. What I want to know is what is the largest amount of people they've had there in their history, how many chairbacks they have in the facility, and also what do they consider a sellout? What number of seats sold do they consider a sellout? Okay. Also, you should know what their revenue streams are. I have season ticket sales, number 1, sponsorship and marketing, number 2, sports service. They get a percentage of sports service, don't forget. Number 3, that was number 3. Number 4, suite rental. Number 5, I think we've got group and individual. Group and individual sales, which also includes walk-up. Do you remember what percentage or approximate percentage is their walk-up per game per game? So I think they gave you. I'll just tell you the percentage is 15 to 20% is walk-up. How do they calculate the price of a rental of the suites? They gave you a formula. How do they do that? Okay, I want you to know that. How much did that scoreboard cost out in the outfield, and how much was the overall cost of building the facility? It was built in the year 2004. Okay. Last thing, not last thing, but on the side of jargon, I want you to know what is this term they call inventory. What is that called? What is the nature of their inventory? In minor league baseball, it's not about winning or losing, but instead it's about what. Their customers are not just called customers, they're really called what. And then finally, this was a comment made by Christine Weiler, who was there, she was saying that in a recent training session on sales, they said that they no longer they try to avoid using the term selling tickets, and they said instead they use another term. What is that term? Finally, on the category of expenses, what is their number one expense? And that should be rent to John Q. Hammonds. Number two, what is number two? What is number three? And what is number four? Okay? And then finally, right under the vendor contracts, you should have under there who the ticketing, who does the ticketing, who does the food and beverage concessions, which company is it that is identified as their concessionaire. And also, I'm just noticing here, I want you to remember the term per caps. Okay, what does the term per caps mean? That's going to come up in your chapter readings too. Okay, all right. How many suites are there? I think there's 28 suites. And then they can get, and then they can also generate some revenue from the training facility. Do you remember approximately how much? $400 approximately for an event. So just wanted you to be aware of that as well. All right, I think that captures everything on that particular tour that I want you to be aware of and remember. I'm taking a look at any other notes here. Okay, the only other thing I wanted to mention is, what was the purpose of removing some of the aisle seats in the stadium? Do you remember they talked about removing some of the seats in the aisle? What benefit did that have? And that should be enough for that. Okay? All right, so I'm going to pause right now, come back to you with the next tour.